I wanted to just quickly do a look at the weekly and daily charts for the NQ September. You can see 43.53 on the left weekly chart was a valley where the bulls had pushed price up significantly that we were looking at today. We had just come down into these two levels here on our right daily chart here, and price really had no push from these energy bands on up. So we just got a push up from the 43.53, which is this level here on the weekly, and you'll note that on the daily chart I've drawn a black arrow here to illustrate what I'm going to discuss, but you can see how price is pulled back to this white dotted line. Well, that's this solid white line on our left weekly chart. This is our weekly mid. And you can see the push did not go very high, and then pulled back down again to the weekly mid, pushed up, very weak, pushed up one more time, and picked off the sellers off the top here and dumped back on down. So we have a framework using this visual energy analysis to determine where they're going to push price into where the buyers and sellers have created a significant change in order flow. So as the market flushed on down here, July 5th would be the Sunday. Coming into today, I'll just ask, what do you think of our 43.53 level? Did the energy have an effect on price? I'll let you decide. As you can see earlier this morning, we had a crest actually up in here, and also a valley down here. You see the market rallied up from this green line and then rallied up into this crest pink line here, and then back down into this green line. Let's have a look at, first of all, the left chart's pink line. So as we rally up into this pink line here, you see the pink line on the right hand chart. Our market, our trade chart is in an exhaust condition up in through this same left chart's pink line, which is the crest. So we had an exhaust trade that went down and down into this green valley, the green line here. We had another exhaust trade buy up off of it. The market quite often will create these crests and valleys inside of a crest and valley and just chop. We tend to stay out of that and wait for these extremes to be hit first, because quite often they present larger moves. This long trade here, managed with our lower yellow trade management system, provided a nice move on up for the morning. We potentially had a strong market for today, as our higher chart frame analysis revealed, but just being an intraday trader, one can see that this crest here has gone from resistance turned into support, and that's why I have the green up arrow. On the chart to the left, we look at the dots, and you can see the dots between this dot and this dot. This dot is above this solid white line. This is showing a lot of strength. And on a pullback, we'd be looking to get long. Now, the strength of this crest, the pink line, is turned into support. You can see how the line is now entering and associating with this lower yellow. The lower yellow and lower magenta on the left chart becomes strong support. On the right chart, you'll note two green up arrows. As price retraces back to the left chart's mid, drawn on the trade chart on the right, white dotted lines, notice how price pushes up. And here we have a signal here for the midline trade, as this pink line of resistance turns into support for a trend trade. As we look further, price is rallying up. Our dots we'll see are lifting above our solid mid-white line again. As they retrace back down here, this pink line again turns from resistance to support, giving us another opportunity. This opportunity here on the left chart is shown here on the right chart. When we get a green bar, we're we're engaging the strong energy of the left chart. On this second green up arrow, price pulls back. At this point, the trade chart here on the right is showing that pink line drawn on the left, drawn in green because resistance is now support, because our lower yellow has moved into this pink line. You can see quite often how price will migrate back to these valleys, how they try to sweep for stops, and using our trade management technique we can stay in through this pullback and get on these larger moves when the large order flow is sweeping for stops. Again, we have very strong dots going above our solid white line here with a retrace back here into support. I've drawn it in green. This was a crest, this pink line, but you can see how the yellow has moved up into it, and we have a resistance turned into support scenario. On the right trade chart, you'll see another one of our dot scenarios where the dots push down and they can't get below the solid white line. Once we get a green bar here, retracing back to support, this green line from the left chart drawn in pink is now support, we would get long. You'll see how the lower yellow on this trade chart helps maintain our trade management for a long move. Market is very strong here. You can see our dots moving above the white center line and moving on higher. The retrace is not very much, but you'll notice that we're much higher and our yellow has moved up into this pink line, making it support. So as price retraces back, you can see we've got another one of our trades that we call our power mid, when the white dotted line enters one of our energy bands. This energy band here is now energized for a strong move up, and this crest drawn here on this trade chart, the dots are very weak pushing down here, telling us this white dotted line, which is this white line here on this chart, on the left chart, is very strong and still pushing up. You can see how price continues to move higher. We just introduced one of our higher chart frames just to show some of the levels that we had for targeting coming into today. You can see how price rallied up into these areas, these crests, these pink lines. This essentially was a spot in which the strong energy pushing up exhausted and fell back. You notice that on the retrace on our left chart here, that our pink line, our crest line, is a long way away from our yellow here. It's actually in what we call the lower red. Not typical of when we have a strong trend. So we teach how to spot strong trends and also how to visualize how far away we are when we're actually breaking above crests and that we don't expect a strong trend to continue. That'll be it for our review for Monday, July the 6th, 2015. Thank you for watching.